Boom Bam Bam, President Chad is on the inside, and welcome to the United Hour. Joining me is the man Zahir. Manchester United dealing with seventh place Sunderland. I need to say that seventh place Sunderland, because people say, oh, well, they just beat up Sunderland. Sunderland is a relegation side.
Seventh place after today's result. They were in fifth place before the game started.
Correct, right? So Manchester United dealing with fifth place Sunderland before the game started, and moving ourselves from 14th position up to 9th, right? 2-0. We had goals from Mason Mount, which I think may have been a surprise. Not that he scored, but that he started the game today. Would have been a bit of a surprise for some. And Sesko. 2 goals now in 2 matches. So a lot of positives. And we're going to jump straight into that. Let's talk a little good United, bad United. People feel free. Put in the comments what you thought were the good things and the standout that Manchester United did versus some of the disappointing things that you saw that you wasn't too pleased with during the course of the game. In the comments, feel free to weigh in the conversation. Remember to like and subscribe if you're not already doing that. So, Zaire, what were the good standouts for you in the win this morning?
Firstly, a home debut for Sen Elements, keeping a clean sheet on debut in front of the Old Trafford crowd.
Let me ask you a question on that point. Did you feel more confident throughout the game with Lemans in goal versus Bayandere or Onana?
Oh, I didn't know what to expect from him at the start of the game, but as the game went on, I realized he wasn't trying anything risky one, so he wasn't trying to play out from the back, which could have gotten him in trouble because the conditions today were horrible, very windy, a lot of high balls were getting lost. 2, when I started seeing him grow into the game, coming out of his line, claiming high balls, being very confident in his distribution when he claimed the ball. And then 3, making saves when he was called upon to make saves. As the game grew on, you're very right. Coming towards the end of the game, I kept feeling more and more confident that yes, we're going to keep a clean sheet.
All right, excellent. So go ahead. You were talking about the positives. So the goalkeeper was definitely one of the positives.
Clean sheet, 1. 2, second game in a row with a goal for Benjamin Sesko, who is starting, it seems, to find his feet with the Premiership. 3, beautiful goal from Mason Mount, an early contender for at least goal of the month in October, even though it's the first game in October. He set the benchmark here, early contender. 4, a return from Casemiro. We knew he only missed game because of the red card, but it's good to have him back. It's good to have that experience, especially when the team is needing it more and more. Overall play, improving. Ahmad and Mbueno seem to have a very nice partnership going on the right side there. So that is heartening. It gives me hope that something better will come out of it. So yeah, those are pretty much my main positives.
I agree, Ahmad and Mbumo seem to be connecting well. Mbumo also contributed with the assist for Mason Mount's goal. What were the negatives that you saw in the game today?
I believe we should have won more than 2-0. I would like to see us getting back. Thankful for the win, thankful for the clean sheet, but I want to see a little more clinical dispatching of chances in front of the goal. I think I saw in our chat group somebody put up a stat where we have, for the season so far, the highest number of chances created, but one of the worst conversion rates of chances created.
Yeah, the commentator actually mentioned it during the game that Manchester United has the most shots.
I want to see that, right? I'm still Luke Shaw still is not having the impact you'd want from him. Yes, it's a little older Luke Shaw. On the little plus side, he hasn't succumbed to any injuries yet, but I think we really need to get a better option than Luke Shaw. So I'm really longing for the return of Lisandro Martinez in that left of the three centre backs defensively.
I really hope that during this international break that Amarin is pressed concerning what's going on with Martinez, because some weeks ago we started seeing images and him saying he'd be back soon, and then all of a sudden it's gone quiet.
Well, I
So,
think without admitting it, they probably rushed him back a little too early last time, right? Because of the need to have him back. And you see what that led to. So I'm thinking maybe a little caution is the better thing. Now, um, because you still have Bruno in that deeper role, you are not getting to see the full extent of what Bruno can contribute creatively, right? However, I will also say to that, he looked a little more disciplined in his play today. I didn't see him misplacing, at least that's for me, as much as he would when he's trying to press and create things. I was a little disappointed in Cunha's performance today, I must admit. We are expecting better things from him, so I'm hoping that something lights the spark. Maybe if he plays for Brazil on this international break, it will light a spark for him. But other than that,
I mean, coming back from injury, Cunha could get a pass today. However, going through some of you touched on all of the positive things I would have liked to touch on. So I will touch on some of the negative things that I wasn't pleased about in the game today. One, Diogo Dalot sometimes behaves like he has out of body experiences on the field. For an experienced footballer, somebody misplaced passes Diogo Dalot makes, especially in dangerous places. You know, people always get upset with Bruno. Oh, Bruno does do all kind of crazy. Once Bruno doing craziness and trying things in the opposition half, I don't have a problem with Bruno doing that. Because if you lose the ball in the opposition half, you have time to recover. Where you don't want to lose the ball is in your half.
which is
Where you
what I'll
don't
do.
want to lose the ball is when you're playing up. And sometimes the load is have to do some kind of things that is make you wonder. You are a veteran, you just play international football. You know what I mean? You may still be a fairly young player, but you play a lot of football. We bought Diogo Dalot, if I'm not mistaken, when he was 18 or 19 years old. This guy's
Mm,
been playing
with
football
Mourinho,
and he has played a lot of football with different managers. You know, what is going on? The man has won international trophies with Portugal. I don't know what go. He's just
and
boggle my mind sometimes.
he played quite successfully on loan in Italy as well.
Right? The other negative is I still find we play some of our attackers play like if we rush in the football. You know, some of these guys, Cunha in particular, Mbumo sometimes, Sesko as well sometimes, you know, they behave when they get the ball around the top of the box of the opposition. Like if you know if I don't get off my shot now, I might get it off again. Now I don't know if that is just people trying to build their confidence. You know, I need a goal to build my confidence. If I get a goal, I will, you know, it'll make me feel good and it'll lift the team. I don't know if that is because they don't trust the players around them. They don't trust that if I pass off this ball and I make this run, I'm going to get it back because we have all seen in the last game and in this game where, and I can't just say Ahmad is the only one guilty because he's not the only one guilty of it, where players have easy passes to make to the open man in the box and they fail to make the pass. So I don't know if some of our attackers are playing this kind of rush football because they feel like, boy, I don't know if I'm going to get back this ball now. Let me take this shots. Let me just shoot the ball and see, you know, hope for the best. Because I don't mind if you're shooting the ball and you produce a worldie and we score.
Mm.
I have a problem when you're shooting the ball and you're just helping the goalkeeper get nice save stats. Because some of them shots on them, I would never keep in my life could have saved them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me. The goalkeeper didn't do anything special.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So I I had a problem with that. We playing too much rush football at times. At times, these guys just take some shots, and it seems like they feel pressured, and we will win in the game. I've seen them do it when we behind, and I've seen them do it now when we ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I'm going to be paying attention to that because I think if we play strategic football, we will continue to create chances. Regardless of what people say about Amarin's system, it does create chances. The stats prove that the amount of shots that the team has had, the amount of shots on target. Guys just need to stay a little bit in the zone, you know? Um, let's talk a little bit about, well, we mentioned Lamens already. People in the comments, let me know how you felt about Lamens in goal today. Did you feel more secure? Did you feel more safe? Were you nervous? He ran out and claimed some high balls. I was very happy about that. So
He seems to
and
have good he seems to get nice height on his vertical leaps as well because he took some of them pretty high. Right? So I actually like the whole. Hello?
go ahead, Zaire. I just brought you up. Nothing wrong. You go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because he did not look nervous. I mean, when Bayanda started this season replacing Onana, he clearly looked nervous in his first game or two, right? And this guy didn't. This guy looked pretty settled. He looked like if it wasn't his first game, right? And I saw him communicating loudly with his back three, saying exactly what he wanted, being very vocal. I saw the defense, supporting him and geeing him up when he claimed balls successfully. I think so. He's gonna have a real big test in 2 weeks' time. No two ways about it. But let's see how we
So
come
let
in.
me ask you this: the manager was asked about Laments, and if he is going to be the new number one, and he said, this is just basic rotation. Now I
Mm-hmm.
understand before the game, you don't want to come out and say yes, it's going to be a number one. Next thing, the man go there and you have a hole and we concede three. You know, so I understand. I don't have an issue with Amarin's statements. My question to you is, based on the performance today, based on the comfort that you felt watching the performance today, would you like to see Lamens as our number one going forward?
Yes, but even before that, I think he must start the next game, regardless of the fact that it is Liverpool. And I believe we are away, right? I believe we are at Anfield,
Yeah, we're going to Anfield next.
right? So hell of a place to make your away debut. But his performance today deserves another game. It does not matter who the opponent is. The next game could be a Champions League game against a Real Madrid, a Barca, or PSG. The performance he had today did enough to justify starting the next game. So therefore, he has to start. And once he continues in that vein, I do not see a reason to drop the young man.
I agree. I agree. The goalkeeper came in. He did well, and he just had a steadiness about him. Something about him reminded me a little bit of Van der Sar. I'm not saying he's Van der Sar quality. Yeah, people. I'm not saying that. I'm not going over the deep end. I'm just saying something about him reminded me a little bit about Van der Sar, and that is always a good thing. So, who in terms of Manchester United players would you say would have been your man of the match?
The
Who your
keeper,
standout players?
the keeper, one. Mason up to the point of his substitution, two. Um, yeah, those two definitely stood out. Ahmad was good but not fantastic. Cunha didn't really have a great game. And apart from putting away his best chance, Sesko really didn't have anything stand out. So I would say the keeper and Mason.
All right, all right, all right. For me, I would say the goalkeeper. I would say the goalkeeper was the man of the match because just as many good things that certain players did, Ahmad did some good things. He also did some things that made me scratch my head at times.
Some Ahmad.
Um, so in terms of the outfield players, no standout for me. Make sure I'm putting in the comments what you think or who you think was your standout player, your man of the match for the game. Um, we cannot have a Manchester United conversation or match reaction without talking about the manager, right? The manager has been under fire. He did an interview in the middle of the week talking about he is going to change his system. Now, I don't know if that is the higher ups telling him here what the media is crucifying you with the stubbornness, right? Whether it is you're really planning to do change the system or not, just say you're going to change the system. Just
Change the
say that.
narrative.
Just change the narrative because the narrative in the media is that you are stubborn. The team is losing. We understand that certain things and it's going to take a bit of a transition. And we as the ownership, we may not have an issue with waiting. We don't have an issue with things taking time. We are all football and men here, we understand that. But you see the stubbornness, then the media narrative is that problem. I don't know if that is that or him saying he was going to make some changes to the system was a genuine acknowledgement by him that certain things was not going well and that there are adjustments that need to be made for the Premier League. I do not know which one it is because I watched the game today and outside of the personnel, I didn't see any change. Really? Did you observe any change that you could say, well, yes, there was a
Well,
difference, a
no,
real difference here or there?
not really. One of the things he did that had me a bit concerned is okay. You're coming towards the end of the game. You're looking to see out the game. You're thinking you're comfortably ahead. So you take off Euro, you bring on Harry Maguire. I really don't have a problem with you bringing on Harry because Harry is experienced enough to see out the game and preserve the clean sheet. But why would you switch Dillit out now to the side and put Harry in the middle of the three, effectively recreating the same defensive back three that Brentford ripped to pieces last week? We weren't 3-0 or 4-0 up. We were 2-0 up. If one goal had been conceded, Sunderland were going to storm back into the game with that same back three formation. Right? So that is one of the things that had me a little concerned. I mean, what is he really doing there? Right? The starting with Dalo as well. I mean, if you know that Mazraoui is unavailable, right? But it's better you start Dogu and you start with Dalo. Because you know you're gonna put Ahmad on one side, put Dogu on the other side and let Dalo sit down. But these are some of the things he's been taking fire for because it seems like his two main players who are his countrymen can do no wrong in his eyes.
Well, as far as Bruno goes, we understand Bruno is our captain. And for me, at least, I think Bruno is a headache for the manager and would be a headache for any manager. He's the club captain. He's the most consistent player on the pitch for Manchester United since his arrival at the club. So you want to position him, you want to play him, but honestly, he does not fit perfectly into Amarin's system. So you're kind of like trying to squeeze a square peg in a round hole kind of thing scenario to make him play. And then you have the perfect player, in my opinion, in Kobe Mainoo on the bench. Because the person he competing with don't get injured, normally plays 90 minutes, plays every game, and is the club captain. So it's like, oh, what's up, brother? Supposed to get a chance. Yeah, it's not how it's for Kobe Manu supposed to get a chance. But
Sideways from that is Menu has been left off of Tuchel's England squad for these upcoming international games. Can you really blame Tuchel because the young man is not starting for his club and he's not
I go
showing
blame
anything?
Tuchel, and Mino is young. He will have plenty opportunities to to regain his England place. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Before
Talking
you
about
change,
Mino,
but before you change, as we were on Bruno, I have a question for you. Bruno has missed two penalties for the season so far. The next one that we get is Bruno still being allowed to take it. Or would you allow him to still be the man taking it?
to me, if we had gotten another penalty in the game, I would have said give it to him, Bruno. If we get a going forward, Bruno's penalty record for Manchester United is very, very good. Right? Um, if it is in practice, he is missing penalties or he seems to be not having his edge, then I would say give it to Mbumo. Right? Because Mbumo also has a very good penalty conversion rate. But at this stage, I wouldn't want to take penalties off Bruno unless I see something in practice that let me feel like, no, you know what I mean? Um, but if I were to take penalties off of Bruno, which I don't have a problem with, I would give it to Mbumo. That would be my personal choice.
Hmm.
Who were we talking about? We were talking about somebody else. It was Bruno and Kobe Mino.
You know,
Kobe Mino came on today and he was put into the number 10 role, which is a place that a lot of United supporters would like to see him play. Do you think and do you expect to continue to see more rotation? Sesko is going to be the number 9, but between Mbumo seems to have fairly solidified his spot as a starter for Manchester United. Do you expect to continue to see some rotation in that those 210 positions between Cunha and Mount and Mino, or do you think Mino is mainly going to be used in that Bruno Fernandes spot?
well, it depends on who's performing. I mean, if Cunha gets himself back up to at least the level that he was performing at for Wolves, and I say at least because, with all due respect to Wolverhampton Wolves, they are currently bottom of the table, and they are not Manchester United. Therefore, even though he was perhaps their best player for the last couple of seasons, he comes to us, there has to be a level up. I think we would all say there has to be a level up to go. But even if he gets back to where he was, it's going to be difficult to leave him on the bench. Right? So you're going to look at him starting. And the manager already let the whole world know that Kobe is competing with Bruno. Plain talk, bad manners. He didn't hint, he didn't suggest, he didn't imply, he outright came out and said it. Right? So as long as Bruno's name is the first name on the team sheet, Kobe ain't starting. Unless Kobe tells himself, I am going to convert myself into more of a holding midfielder to make one of those two deep lying spots mine. He's still a young player. If he decides he wants to do that, he could possibly do it successfully. Would it be the best thing for his career? Who knows? Right? Because you're looking at an England team that is not lacking in creativity in the middle. Right? But
So,
barring Declan Rice, they don't have that solidity in the heart of the midfield.
so looking at talking a little bit, we can't, as said a little while ago, we can't talk about Manchester United and not talk about the manager because the manager has been under fire. Do you think this result is gonna change anything in the
Well,
minds of the Amarin out crowd?
no, because they're going to say the same thing everybody else will say, that it's Sunderland, that Sunderland has been punching above their weight and has had the best start by a promoted side in God knows how many years after X number of games in the season, right? So they're going to
Let
say
me
that.
ask you this question, and this is very important. Jose Mourinho was fired not too long after we played Liverpool.
Hmm.
And we've had a few managers as well that lost their job after very bad losses to Liverpool. Manchester United's next game is Liverpool at Anfield. Do you think that Amarin's job hinges on the result? Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that he needs to win to keep his job. But he needs, would you say that he needs to make sure he doesn't get massacred? If we go there and we lose badly, do you think that regardless of what upper management feels, they're going to be like, nah, boy, that's it. Last nail in the coffin. Is this Liverpool game that important for Amarin to have a good game?
If I'm reading, I don't know too much about them, but if I'm reading Radcliffe and the Ineos crowd a little better than the Glazers, could be neither here nor there with what's going on the field, right? So I believe that decision to hire or fire would ultimately be made or suggested by Radcliffe and the people who have footballing control. I think we could agree on that, right? If they, regardless of how badly we lose, if we lose, decide that he has to go, that's tantamount. That Courtney is making the point. They don't have money to pay him if he gets fired during this financial year or before a year of service, right? So that gives him at least until November, regardless of how things go in 2 weeks' time. They will not like it to be said that their first major hire as manager was a failure. And remember, according to the stories, they insisted that he take the job in November. He told them he wanted to stay with Sporting, finish the season, come fresh with what would have been summer this year with a fresh transfer window and a fresh everything and start new. And the story we heard is that he was told now or never, right? So after, if all of that is true, you can't fire him. Now, if we lose 1-0, 2-1, and it's a close game, and we've played well, but gotten edged by slot time, which seems to have replaced Fergie time, right? No skin off my back, and it should be no skin off his back once we have held our own. If he gets something like what happened when Ollie was in charge, it may not make them think to fire him, but it will definitely give the Amarin out call momentum and get more people on board with the Amarin out crowd. And of course, the media is going to have a field day with it.
And let me ask you this: if we go and beat Liverpool, because Liverpool, I don't want to I don't want to put ourselves
Three in a row they've lost.
I don't want to put ourselves in the same kind of box we put ourselves in one of our games recently where we were playing a team that was on a losing streak. And we broke the losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Liverpool is on a losing streak and we only win our last game. And can't say we're on a winning streak, but we win our last game. So, but honestly, how you feel about that game? I know it's 2 weeks away. I know a lot could happen in the international break in terms of injuries and X, Y, and Z. But right now, how you feel about that game?
If we going into that game in 2 weeks' time based on exact same current form, fitness, and personnel as both teams have had for the last couple of weeks, I think we beat them. Right? Like
And
you
I
say,
agree. I think Liverpool could be gotten at.
you notice I'm saying
I
it.
don't know.
Exact same. Just imagine we just transplant everything 2 weeks into the future with nothing in between. We beat them. I think we
I
beat them.
don't
I'm
know
not going
what
to say
the
it's easy or comfortable, but I think we beat them.
I don't know what the problem is with Liverpool's defense. I've watched some of the games and I cannot say, well, I can't say what it is other than maybe it's a chemistry issue, but they don't seem to be clicking. Um, Words doesn't seem to be clicking in that team, which is why he's not starting right now.
Double O
Even though
nine.
when he plays, you see his quality. The man did a round the world, no look behind the back pass to Salah today. That Salah just missed the whole goal. I mean, if that had scored, the pass alone, the setup for the goal alone would have made that hands down the goal of the month because the pass was phenomenal.
I think,
Um,
as you mentioned, Woods, right? Players of a certain caliber need to have players of a similar caliber around them for them to gel a certain way. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying that Trinidad and Tobago has had players of elite world class status. But back in the days of Dwight York playing for Manchester United and Dwight York coming back home to play for Trinidad, you could see the difference in what Dwight York was able to do for Manchester United, playing alongside Andy Cole and with people like Ryan Giggs and David Beckham providing service, as opposed to what he was getting when he came home to play for the national team. It's the same Dwight York with the same skill set and the same levels, but it's not the same caliber of players around them, right? So this Liverpool team is not the same caliber as it was winning the title last season. One, two. Remember that dike in Holland is something they build a whole back water, right? And eventually all dikes bust. So the dike at the back, it busts. It busts. Water come through. Let it
well
flood
said.
into.
Well said. Well said. So you think Van Dijk just getting old?
He's being exposed now. What set him? They claim he is elite defender. I could call Manchester United players names off the top of our heads who we believe are better than him. But what they believe would have set him apart, it's no longer working for him. He now needs another defender next to him that is at that level to help cover for where he's going to fall short.
Well, all right, that's Liverpool issues, but most I just hope that I believe Liverpool can be gotten at. Um, Obviously they have 2 weeks to assess where they would have gone wrong, and we have 2 weeks to continue to sharpen our edges to finish some more of these chances that we created. You know, so we will hopefully deal with that soon, guys. You don't have to wait 2 weeks for us. You will see more United Hour during the course of the next 2 weeks. We're going to find stuff to talk about. And when it comes to Manchester United, it always have stuff to talk about. Zaire, thank you for joining the show. Everybody, certainly for weighing in the comments. You know, remember to like, remember to subscribe, and remember, Red Devils, we don't die.
We
We
multiply.
multiply. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, people.